What's good? Give everybody a second to get in here. FOMC day today, so expect some fireworks around, I think it's 1:30, or it always says 1:30, but I think it starts at 2. I could be wrong. Let's see. Federal Reserve. Oh, the wrong thing. I think it's speeches, actually. No. Well, conferences. I don't know why they make it so hard to find until like the last minute. Calendar. There we go. That's what it is. Let's use Forex Factory. I barely on here. So 1:30. It is at 1:30. So talking about the job market and the economy. We'll see what JPA has to say. Never really one to try and call what I think is going to happen, but I would like these lows. Now, the only thing with that is I see a lot of divergence on SMT and YM. So like if we look on the daily, we took the low on, show you on NASDAQ. No, it's NASDAQ and everything. NASDAQ took the daily low into this fair value gap in the breaker block. ES did not. Neither did the Dow. So that could indicate some form of bullishness overall. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Look at Bitcoin. Or Ethereum is what I wanted to look at. Ethereum, these lows are going to get taken at some point. I know they're going to. Hold on one second. Let me check what this is. Anonymous said, I took everything off KuCoin, any other exchange that is safe. So this is the way I'll put this. I will never be able to tell you what exchange is safe because, to be honest with you, nobody knows. And that's just the ugly truth. Now, I would think if you want to go I'll just give you my reasoning is that, we've kind of been in the Wild West for a long time now, and we're putting thousands of dollars on exchanges that have no KYC. You're not putting your ID in. So was it ever really safe? I don't know. That's kind of just the risk you take. So I'm never going to be, I think anybody that tells you like, oh, this is for sure safe, I think it's not, I'm not going to say it's terrible. I don't think anybody has bad intentions, but I know better than to tell. Like, I'm not going to put my name on anything that I personally can't guarantee. That's why I don't do partnerships with these exchanges. Like you see everybody doing referral codes, and I don't do that because I see potential for stuff like FTX. And I've been like that before FTX, because to me, it's kind of just like, you think about it realistically. They're all exchanges were not verifying your identity. You're on a VPN. You're not even supposed to be on there on a lot of them. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could rug pull at any minute. For sure. I'm not saying they will, but just, just be mindful of that. And then it's tough. So I wish I could tell you something for sure. I mean, I've seen a lot of people post like KuCoin tried to share their reserves that Bybit did. I really don't know which one's the safe. That's really the benefit of trading on a funded account is you don't have to risk that. I've been blessed ever since. It seems like as soon as I started pursuing this route of things, everything went to shit with crypto as far as like trust. But I will say, I feel safer with fucking on Binance than I do on anything else. But I still think that they could go. You never know. You really never know. So just take everything with a grain of salt. Don't and it really at the end of the day, you should never be trading with more than you're willing to lose, anyways. In my opinion. But I get it. That's kind of an easy write-off and say that, and then it's like, okay, well, nobody wants to lose their entire port, and a lot of people did, and it's really sad that happened to so many just people who were just trying to trade that trusted FTX. I mean, they had every last box checked. I mean, they had partnerships with Tom Brady. They owned the naming rights to a massive sports stadium. Stephen Curry. It's like after that, I think it's very clear that anything can happen. And I also think it's very clear that there is obvious manipulation going on that, is targeting crypto and is targeting, causing stuff like this. Because I mean, I'm not much of a huge conspiracy theory guy, but I do think that there is something at play trying to cause so much pain in crypto that regulation is more accepted. And that's not, I don't think that's very tinfoil hat at all. I think it's kind of common sense. But, with Luna, with FTX, all Three Arrows Capital, all this stuff happened. I mean, for one, it just kind of shows you that these people aren't as, smart as most people would think, or maybe that it's all just a scam. I don't know. But anyways, to close that, I wish I could tell you, I know you're searching for something because even if somebody tells you, though, you shouldn't even believe that, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion, because no one knows. I think that's clear at this point. I know a lot of people are flocking to Bybit and KuCoin and Binance, though. So just do your research. Only you can make that decision. You have to just see who's behind it, see who, or see if they have public reserves, see if all that good stuff. But just be aware of the risks you're taking. That's why I encourage everybody to try and get a funded account. I mean, it was honestly funny how arguing with some people on Twitter, I just had to stop replying because people are like, oh, well, what's a real flex is to trade your own money. I'm like, wow, you really are a fucking idiot. The guy that was saying this to me, it was funny. He was arguing, trying to say I don't have to use someone else's money. It's like, wow, you're such a baller, bro. But there's so many benefits to it. Not only do you not have to risk your money on crypto exchanges, you don't have to risk your money trading. After you risk $1,390 to get $300,000. So, worst case scenario, you lose the challenge, you lose, 13.9. And then if you pass the challenge and get to a payout, you get all your money back. So it's just, I don't understand. It's a no-brainer, to try to work towards it. Now, it's not easy, but it's also not the hardest thing in the world either. It's mostly psychological. But I think every trader, if you're trying to do this professionally, that should be your goal. It's just like, when people buy homes and they leverage their credit a lot of the time. When people have multiple homes, they don't own every single one of them cash. That's just, world works on credit. So you got to learn how to use it the right way, not the wrong way, and make money off of it and leverage other people's money and mitigate your risk. And it's just like real life finance, other than trading, is very similar to trading in the sense that capital preservation is what determines who lasts, not who can make. I know a lot of people who can make a lot of money, but they suck with the money once they get it, so it doesn't mean anything. And I think understanding that, if you can get in positions where you have no risk and maybe you make a little less money, or honestly, with the thing with funded trading is it's such a no-brainer, because I don't know about you guys, I wasn't trading with 300K in my Binance before I got funded. I know some people are, but I would never sleep at night if I had 300K on a fucking crypto exchange right now. At one time, that would have been okay, but yeah, I think another thing that's cool, a cool idea, is the decentralized perpetual exchanges, where they are decentralized exchanges where they're offering perpetual contracts. I know, like IDEX, and then we talked about one on stream either yesterday or the day before. It was Woo. I don't know how credible they are, how safe they are, so I'm not endorsing them. But do some homework into that. Just try to find stuff that's audited code by Certic or other good, security auditors in the crypto world, because that's the idea of crypto, is that you want a trustless system. And that's what I think. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of scams, but I do think that there will be some good dexes that come out of all this mess. Today's stream will be a little shorter than the rest, just a heads up. Oh yeah, listen to what Bjorn said. He said, press the like button. Global Vibin said, well, it's vibing through your city, as you guys see him here, but it said big bull on Zcash all next year. Have I done any more back testing on the M15 ABCD strat? Yeah, I did a euro dollar back pretty far. I need to I have them all hidden on my chart because the ABCDs were cluttering everything. We went over most of them though. I haven't done much more since then, but I also haven't been trading very heavily. I traded Dow yesterday and fucking, not to toot my own horn, but I fucking murdered Dow yesterday and did pretty well. Right, this move right here. So I'm pretty much done for the week. I mean, I'm still trading light position sizes, but I hit that one, little 6R. But yeah, I haven't done a bunch more. Let's look at Zach. I like Zach. I'm not opposed to Big Bull and Zcash. I haven't looked at it in forever. You can tell by the TA. So on a monthly, I think they have Coinbase, Zach, that's older. No, it's not. So on a monthly chart, this range is kind of tightening. I would look at this as the range we're trading within as far as the monthly levels. This is just a strat that I do. Not everybody does it. But this is where we're kind of tightening this range. So when you see this happen, we'll get usually consolidation or rapid expansion. We'll see about rapid expansion. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this order block, though, because it is residing within this level. I'm going to draw it out, but I'm going to refine it on maybe not. I'm going to refine it on down, because once we get down to these massive order blocks, I think that you can find a lot of value trying to find levels that coincide with these monthly levels. So I'm looking at the daily chart. I'm trying to find the last little areas that haven't really been tapped into. I mean, we could refine it down to that, but that's already been traded back into. Down here isn't traded into. I mean, what I'll do is I'll just leave it at that weekly. And just know we're in a weekly POI in this nice order block down here. So we're tapping to that. We're tapping that monthly level. We're getting a nice little rejection off of it at a first glance. But what we want to see is, for any kind of massive bull run, so to speak, we want to see a very clear shift on a daily time frame for me personally. That's what I want to see. So I see a pretty bearish structure overall here. I think that we still got a long ways to go. I'm not saying that it won't it won't happen. But I think we have a long ways to go before we see any kind of bull run. But I do see some upside movement. I will say that. So I like this order block right here. So that right there. And you could just go ahead and throw a level on this just to remember where it's at. I always like leveling these daily and weekly levels with these horizontal lines. Can get a little cumbersome sometimes, but so market has came into this weekly area. Buyers have stepped in. We see that displacement here. So we've taken that structure. We could also say that right there was the structure shift. And we came back down into this order block right here, fair value gap. So the daily is looking pretty good for upside here, in my opinion. Now, if we look, I think the next draw it's going for is this high based off of a higher time frame. Oops, wrong thing. Based on a higher time frame. So if we are trying to day trade this, we could look for overall bullish momentum up into if we want to be a little bit more aggressive. It's already tapped a premium, but I think it's going to go higher just because the external structure is pretty wide here. I would view the external structure as this all the way down to here. But, I don't really like swinging for the fences with crypto longs right now. But go to a 4-hour. I like this volume imbalance right here. And I don't know how I would use this with crypto because I'm sure it's not there on all exchanges. So what I'd probably do is just use this whole order block right here, this whole little sell move before the buy side was being offered. I would just look for bullish structure on lower time frames inside this area. I'll actually send an alert. I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so I don't know if I will be around to catch it if it happens soon. But so he said, how do I get that eye emoji on the line tool? Yeah, so many DMs about that. It's literally just I'm just using an emoji. So like if you're on Windows, you can press the Windows key and period, bring up emojis, and then just eye. That's this one. And then make the font black. You can actually change some emojis. You can't change. Like I can change it to like a red eye, like whatever. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. You want to bold it. If you don't bold it, it looks really weird. Make sure you bold it. I don't know, italicizing it. But you can also make the thing bigger if you like. I need to make it 2 because I like the draw. I'm basically saying that's what I'm looking at or looking for, so to speak. Fucking Global White said XRP community will go into poverty. Sir Trades was warned. Sir Trades is going to come for your head top. But yeah, I would like to see a retrace down into this range here. I mean, this looks good. Like, if I were just day trading this, I mean, it looks like the buyers are kind of in control here. Smart money is pushing money to the upside. So we came down that daily fair value gap here. Also, there's this 4-hour order block, traded nicely off of it. Now we're getting structural shifts. So what we'd want to see is, maybe we got a supply here in this order block. We might see a push down. And then you would look for structural confirmation there, however you do it, and then target this right here. And that's just how I would do it. You could try to take it farther. As far as like a bull run goes, based off technicals, I mean, we're in a spot which would be nice to reverse, but I think it's really important for us to, be sure we're reversing, so to speak. Now, I would look at external structure as all the way up here. And I know that's kind of extreme, but that's just the way I would do it on the daily. Just like where USD Swissie's at right now. Swept all this liquidity, ran at this full fill. I think there's an order block in another time frame. And then from that, another order block. Now we're getting this little 3 drive on the 1 minute. It's not trying to enter a trade this close to the FOMC on lunch hour, but I do like this. I won't cap at all. Looks good. And no problem, Odon. There we go. Yeah, I'll reveal this now. We're in some sells and play bit. Oops. Oh yeah, I just now saw this Haas, and I don't know why my Discord, maybe I just didn't hear it because it usually does give notifications. Hold on one sec. Let me post this. Yeah. Reason I went, and I'll kind of review this right now. Reason that I took a sell on ES. We had this low right here that I've been watching for some time. It's also the previous week's low. And we didn't take the previous daily low on ES. We did take it on the Dow. So I was kind of hesitant. Basically, I just literally traded the 5 minute with this one. I saw this displacement at 8:30, right pre-market. Nice return to the order block and the fair value gap and more displacement. So I looked at this area right here. It was kind of jumbled around, so I didn't really try to use super finite levels, but I looked at this area as an area where smart money was selling off, or larger investors were starting to sell off. Looked on the 1 minute and it was still kind of like fuzzy for me, but I did like this level. I should have just set a limit for it, but told some people to trim right here, right after, just since we've been looking at it. So nice little pre-FOMC things. Move stops to entry. I usually wouldn't on this, but it's FOMC day, so I'm gonna move stops to entry. It's been a fucking awesome week. Best week I've had probably since I've been funded, honestly. I tried the least. That's how it goes. And that's one thing, like, I like taking little breaks from trading. I swear to God, every time I take a break from trading, I come back so much better. Because, like, I think you have all these, like, and like, no matter how good at trading you are, how long you've been trading, you always, if you trade consistently every day, every week, you have, like, different stresses and different inconsistencies building up. That's just human nature, in my opinion. Like, I'm not one to sit here and act like perfection, like, oh, you shouldn't be trading if you have emotions. Like, that's just bullshit, in my opinion. I think I've been doing this a while, and I know I still get emotions sometimes. I've gotten much better at processing them and handling them and being aware of them. But I think when you take a break, you kind of like you look at everything from more objective perspective, and then you're able to make better decisions, and you're just more composed, you're much more able to do what it is that you need to do, and that is to keep a level head and not get really upset if you take a loss, and just trust your system. Because if you have been trading a lot, then it's just a little harder to do that. Look up. I'm probably gonna fucking end up. I've took most of this. I almost wanted to just take it all. We took this trade before the FTX stuff, and that was a good example. I wish I had I have receipts that we talked about this on stream, and you guys that have been here for a while know, but I wish I knew the videos, because we talked about it since it was in this range. And we were looking for this order block, and this is really sloppy, in my opinion. I don't even know if I would consider it a market maker sell, but I get that kind of vibe from it. We have this original consolidation, run up into the higher time frame liquidity, which is the fair value gap, smart money reversal, and then your second area of distribution. So we got the high probability sell. So we took profits already at this area down here. This is this daily fair value gap. That's where we took a lot of profits. I think this is still bearish overall, but this is a very fucking beautiful trade we took in the server. And it was nice to see it. It's crazy. You see that play out with I can't even think straight. Oh yeah, with the fundamental fucking fireworks, or I guess I can't even think of a word. The shit show that was FTX dying, and this played out. This is something that's been going on since. Really, it started back in June. So really beautiful piece of price action exhibiting order pairing within the markets. Pushing up into a weekly fair value gap and order block, and then that daily structure really telling us that something's going on. We're getting displacement, and this is a good example for whenever I tell you guys understand displacement. This is displacement. This is displacement. This is displacement. That's what you're looking for, because it's a telltale sign that some large force is in the market. And that's what you want to see whenever you're looking to confirm whatever it is that you're thinking. If you think that we're going to sell off in a certain zone, you don't want to see just a barely little tiny tap of a low. You want to see a break of that low, because if some large force is selling inside this order block that you are looking at, and you're looking to trade with the funds or banks or however you want to put it, and trade with larger investors, you want to make sure that there's larger investors involved, right? This is an indication of that, not these tiny little, barely pips down, then it's going to go up. That's just a liquidity rate. So it's a real fine line between becoming liquidity and seeing it. I think that a lot of courses that are out there don't really explain that very well. That is one thing that I do like ICT a lot for, is he makes sure to reinforce. That's why I try to reinforce it so much, is because you are not going to be able to have consistency without understanding how to see displacement. You're just not. Stock's actually going crazy today. Look at some of this stuff really quick. My brain, I feel like I'm already in vacation mode a little bit. Because I'm my focus is not as good as usual. Player, I wonder what changes the people trading lower amounts on FTMO or other firms end up making way higher ROI on the leaderboards than the ones above. They change risk or something. Yeah, that or they just don't care to lose the account. Like there's a lot of these they'll pass your prop firm. All they're doing is they're buying two accounts and then they're waiting for a high impact news driver and like thousand lotting it or maximum port literally like that's what the so like say for instance like all these clowns that are, oh yeah, we'll pass your challenge for you. Well, they let's say it's F1C today and they have some person who's paid them $5,000 to pass a $200,000 challenge, right? So they've gotten 5,000. It costs them 2,000 to buy two accounts, and then right before the news, FTMO this probably wouldn't work because they have the restrictions. But they're basically full porting. They're waiting for the liquidity rate, then full porting both directions, or maybe not full porting because then you could risk the drawdown. But that's what they're doing in essence. Is just gambling and kind of making sure they win, so to speak. But uh, that's the same logic I think with a lot of these smaller accounts because you got to understand them. This is one thing that I think like I've I've done a lot of different businesses and I've traded a long time and I've lost a fuckload of money in my life. I've made a bunch and I've lost a bunch, and it desensitizes you to funded accounts because like at first it even got to me a little bit. Like I was like it was more of like the psychological thing. Like when I first started that challenge, I didn't even tell you guys because I was like, that psychological. I didn't give a fuck to lose $1,300. I gave a fuck to fail, so to speak, right? But you have to understand that like let's say if somebody did fail a challenge or they did blow their account, whatever, that doesn't mean you can't measure your success with that. Like you don't value yourself, you know, based off of that. But it's easy to like I don't want to lose. I don't want to, so I had to like really come to terms with that because that mentality, like being afraid to lose or being whether it's losing money or failing or whatever it is that your brain is interpreting as pain, it's going to cause you to do that. If you're scared to fall, you're going to fall, right? If you're scared to lose, you're going to lose. That's just how the world works. And that's why people that are overly cautious don't ever get anywhere. You also can be too reckless. I understand that, but I think with these accounts, like the people that do the best are the people who aren't afraid to lose them, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be putting more money in than you can lose on a challenge. And if you've got your money back and it's a payout, and you've got your payout, and you're confident in your trading, like if you've gotten to the point that you need to be at to be successful in trading, then you wouldn't care about losing an account because you have a system that you can then get another account. Most of the time, if you have a good system, you're probably not going to lose the account. But if you're doing bad or getting close to your drawdown or whatever, or you're not, maybe it's getting close to the end of the month and you haven't hit your profit or whatever obstacle you're coming across, if you have confidence in your system and like, hey, I know how to fucking trade. Like there's been times where I've gone through ruts. Some of you guys have seen it, right? Like I've traded when play a bit. It's been, I don't even know. It's been like what, like almost 2 years I've been given signals. And there's been times in that 2 years where I was not doing good. You guys have been here and saw it. But like at the end of the day, you have to like remind yourself, like, yo, motherfucker, like you know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you don't. So then it always comes down to, okay, it's a psychological slump. Like maybe you're too afraid to lose. Maybe you're too afraid to publicly lose. Maybe you're just afraid to lose money because you need the money. Or, and all of that is amplified like times 100 whenever you're trading either A, publicly, or B, on a funded account. Those two things are the biggest amplifiers of and catalysts of psychological issues. But learning to master those helps you tremendously. Like giving signals has made me such a better trader overall because it made me not care even more almost. At first, it was hard. Like, when you first start doing that, you're like, it's nervous. You're like, fuck, all eyes on you type thing. But you have to learn to like roll with the punches. And some days and some weeks you're not going to be the best. And then others are, So that hopefully that helps some. I know there's probably some of you guys who have had issues like that in the past and have, probably incurred losses or maybe lost a challenge or lost your port or whatever in your early times or whatever happened. 99% of the times it's psychological. Now, if you just have no idea what you're doing and you're just out here losing money, this doesn't apply to you. You need to be. That's kind of like, I don't even explain that because I feel like it's common sense. And if it's not, then you have a long way to go. Yeah, it's following the plan pretty nicely. Yeah, also to me, like, there's sometimes I just get like intuitive a little bit, and I try not to be like this, but like, this just looks like it wants to shit to me. Like, just looking at this, it just looks like sell off. It's like that rounded top into an order block. Maybe even a market maker. Nah, I wouldn't. It's so sloppy. But you could see where we're off. We're like at this point. This is why I love these curve visuals. I actually saw LH. You guys know, a lot of you guys on Twitter know LH. She's super good at drawing out her stuff. And it's like, it's not going to always be perfect. This kind of goes above the curve. But this is where, when you see that you can draw this curve, you see like what kind of liquidity was being sought after on the way up. It was going after the buy side. Highs are getting taken. Right? Highs are getting taken. Highs are getting taken. Right there. So then what happens? Then you get that displacement down. This indicates you are now on the sell side of the curve. So then you just say, so where's sell side liquidity? Right there. And then once you understand that and you start to see displacement and you look at these as individual dealing ranges, like, okay, here's a dealing range. Here's a dealing range. You just look to get involved at a POI and a premium. It's that simple. And everybody, that's like, there's a lot of ways to complicate it, but that's the way that I look at it. I like looking at this, and then you have to just not be afraid to lose. Like that's, if I could stress one thing to myself, that this was like the thing that took me the longest to get over, was like, and this is the only thing I ever still have issues with, is being afraid to take a fucking loss. Like, I don't care now. I will take a loss, and sometimes it puts me in a bad mood for a little bit, but again, it goes back to just being like, okay, I know that I can trade. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't lose sight of that. And like, just because you take a loss or take a couple losses doesn't mean you're a bad trader or you're, whatever. I don't know. I'll quit ranting about it, but hopefully that helps. Because I know there's a lot of you guys that are listening that have issues like that. So I got 2 questions. Is a 3 drive invalidated if it's actually a 4 drive? I mean, if you give me a chart, I'd look. I think that don't be so black and white with 3 drives. I think 3 drives are more of a narrative tool. So it's understanding the components and understanding, what's going on more so. Like, for instance, like if you had something like this, I would just still look at this as the 3 drive. I wouldn't consider this over here. I would just say that was liquidity that's building up. I would just say, the 3 drive was one, the first drive, second drive, third drive. And then you want to see immediate displacement. 3 drives are nice because you should see, now, if you see this and then price goes up like this, yeah, I wouldn't consider that a 3 drive anymore. Because with 3 drives, usually you'll get like if I see a 3 drive, I usually short on the break of structure with like a closure with displacement, because a lot of times, 3 drives, you won't even see it come back. Or if it does, it'll just come back to like that first little, or it won't even come back to the breakaway. It'll come like barely up and then just gone. You can also break even your stops fairly quickly on 3 drives. What is my lowest time frame that I'm using for an entry? 1 minute. And yeah, I can show you some entries. Go back. I'll show you actually, because I have some stuff. It's older, but I never label my shit. I was doing good there for a minute and then stopped labeling anything. It might have been on ES, regular ES. Because all these are trades. I'm just trying to make this quickly. Let's do this one. So that's what, 9:28, 22, and we'll do this one. These 9:20. I think these are both 1 minutes. So let's go back and rewind first off. Hopefully I have that data. I have the best trading view now. I upgraded just for that reason. Oh, it's showing over here. So it was 928, right? Where is it? Replay tool. Brain's not working. Okay. Wait, God damn it. It just went. Oh, we don't have that data. I could show you how I would look at 1 minute entries. Like for instance, like earlier this morning, like, okay, so once you're in your area where you might want to trade, so like the Dow earlier had SMT. So that told me that, you know, this low, and we made a low, NQ we didn't, ES we didn't. So that told me like, hey, okay, you know, we might see a retrace back in this fair value gap. I didn't trade this, but you could have. I didn't feel the need to. I was already in other trades. But like for instance, once you get that, you would look for a shift on the lower time frame. So something like that. You could use either high if you want to be aggressive. Like the aggressive entry would have been that you shifted up, you left the fair value gap. That was your entry. Right there when it did it tap into it. Actually, let's see if it even did. Oh, actually, I think you got left behind. So you got left on that. But once it came up here, you would have just, once it started to form that swing high, you could just mark out the entire displacement, and you could have looked, okay, I'm going to order it. You could place an order there that you got missed. You could use this order block. Some people would, this is another model I've been using, like it's turtle soup. Like if you have liquidity like that, you could just enter on the low. So there's a couple entries there, but once it's just all about like understanding a framework. And then once you get that framework, and once you get your lower time frame displacement up, you just look again. It's like we were talking about earlier. It's the same as all time frames. When looking at volume on 3 drives, you see diminishing volume at each peak. Yeah, I don't use volume, but that is very true. And you also want to see lower distance between each one. So like for instance, you might take the first drive, the second drive, and then like the third drive or something like that. You want to see, and maybe that's what you mean when you say volume, but the distance, and that's actually, I think that's Wyckoff stuff too. Wyckoff people look for that too. I could be wrong. I'm not a big Wyckoff guy. I'm not very knowledgeable on it. Oops. What's good old Dixie doing? I think Dixie started its move after it took this low and came off it like that. I think overall it's moving back up into this imbalance here on a daily, but it'll probably be a rocky ride unless J-Pal says something crazy today. The nice order block right there. You can see clearly where the displacement's in the market. Equal highs. All this up here is going to get attacked for sure. Yeah, on that note, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I won't be on the rest of the week, and I won't be doing the class for the Peel and Play Bit this Sunday, unfortunately, because I will be on vacation. But what I'm going to do is next week, I will do a class on, we'll basically do 2 classes kind of to make up for it. So until Monday, I will see all of you guys later. I really appreciate you guys coming through. If you could like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And then if you guys want to get a free trial to the Discord, the code is in the description with the link. It'll give you a 5-day free trial. And if you decide to stay, it will be a discount in your first month. I will see you guys later. Stay safe. Don't get liquidated out there. Peace.